The United States has deployed troops to join forces with its allies for a series of joint military patrols. The mission? To counter Chinese aggression and secure vital international waters. But what does this mean for the already tense relationship between Washington and Beijing? Stay tuned as we unravel the details of this high-stakes operation. The South China Sea, one of the world's most contested regions, a hotspot for global trade, military strategy, and geopolitical conflict. Let's dive into why the U.S. has taken this bold step. Over the past decade, China has significantly ramped up its presence in the South China Sea, building artificial islands and militarizing the region. These actions have sparked concerns among neighboring countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia, as well as international powers like the United States. The U.S. has consistently called for freedom of navigation in these waters, which see nearly $5 trillion worth of trade pass through annually. However, China's claims over almost the entire South China Sea, backed by its 9-line map, continue to challenge international law and sovereignty. In response to China's aggressive maneuvers, the U.S. has launched joint patrol missions with its regional allies. These operations involve not just American troops, but also naval forces from nations like Japan, Australia, and the Philippines. Their objective: to ensure the safety of these waters and to send a clear message to Beijing, intimidation will not go unchecked. The United States House of Representatives has passed a resolution that reaffirms Washington, D.C.'s unwavering commitment to the Philippines' defense and calls for more joint patrols in the South China Sea. The U.S. House of Representatives Resolution number 837 was introduced by Guam's delegate to the U.S. Congress James Moylan in 2023 and was approved on November 20. I am proud to announce that today the House has officially passed H Resolution 837, reaffirming the ties between the U.S. and the Philippines. This resolution reinforces our long-standing friendship, mutual commitment to security, and economic partnership, Moylan said on his X account Thursday. The resolution calls on the U.S. and the Philippines to conduct more joint patrols in the South China Sea, including with other like-minded partners, to underscore the importance of freedom of navigation and overflight. It also conveyed firm objection to China's false sovereignty claims to the South China Sea and called on Beijing to cease its aggressive and dangerous actions against Philippine vessels in the area. In addition, it reaffirmed Washington, D.C.'s commitment to invoking the Mutual Defense Treaty in case of an armed attack against Filipino assets, including Philippine Coast Guard vessels in the South China Sea. Defense relations between the Philippines and the U.S. deepened under the administrations of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and U.S. President Joe Biden, with the latter approving $500 million of foreign military funding to help modernize the country's external defense. In his visit to the Philippines earlier this week, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin III said the U.S. commitment to the alliance would transcend changes of administration. The U.S. is an active participant in the Philippine-led maritime cooperative activities. Joint sails billed as a show of collective commitment to strengthen cooperation for a free and open Indo-Pacific. Earlier, the U.S. Embassy in Manila confirmed the existence of Task Force Ayungin, which allows U.S. forces to support armed forces of the Philippines' activities in the South China Sea. The Philippines is considering the possible putting of American troops on standby mode in other areas in the West Philippine Sea following the creation of a task force dedicated to Ayungin Shoal, its ambassador to the U.S. said Friday. Still under consideration by Department of National Defense, Ambassador Jose Manuel Babe Romualdez, U.S. Task Force. Ayungin, whose existence was bared by U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd J. Austin III recently, was created as part of Washington's support for Philippine forces in the country's maritime zones. The American troops, however, will not directly participate in the conduct of actual missions in the West Philippine Sea, according to National Security Advisor Eduardo Año. Romualdez said the creation of the task force was part of the Visiting Forces Agreement and the Mutual Defense Treaty between the Philippines and the U.S. The Visiting Forces Agreement, which took effect in 1999, allows U.S. troops to train and advise their Filipino counterparts in disaster response and fight against terrorists. On the other hand, the Mutual Defense Treaty is a defense pact that unites Washington and Manila and help defend each other from aggression. The U.S. Defense Press Operations said in that the presence of Task Force Ayungin was the continuation of a decades-long partnership between the Philippines and the U.S. in support of shared security interests. Located 105 nautical miles west of Palawan, Ayungin Shoal is within the Philippines' 200-mile exclusive economic zone, but is being claimed by China as part of its territory. Since 1999, BRP Sierra Madre, a World War II-era landing ship of the Philippine Navy, has been grounded in Ayungin Shoal and manned by Filipino troops. This ship has become a symbol of Philippine sovereignty. In the past months, however, Chinese forces have been blocking or harassing Philippine resupply missions to Ayungin Shoal, resulting in heightened tensions in the region. The joint patrols aim to enhance cooperation and strengthen military readiness among allied nations. Experts believe this could be a game-changer in the fight for stability in the region. Unsurprisingly, Beijing has condemned these patrols, calling them provocative and a threat to regional peace. In a recent statement, Chinese officials accused the U.S. of stirring up trouble and warned of potential countermeasures. Meanwhile, Washington has reiterated its commitment to protecting international waters and defending its allies. Other global powers, including the EU and India, have expressed support for the U.S.-led efforts, emphasizing the need for a rules-based international order. So, what does this mean for the future of the South China Sea? Experts predict heightened tensions and the possibility of more frequent military confrontations. However, these patrols also signal a growing unity among nations opposing China's unilateral claims. With so much at stake from economic stability to regional security, this development is one to watch closely. The South China Sea remains a theater of conflict, but it's also a test of global unity and resilience. The United States and its allies are stepping up, but the question remains, will this be enough to deter China? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for the latest updates on global events. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.